What's going on, YouTube? My name is FG3000, back in the place to be, and finally the MMO Hopper has come to Elder Scrolls Online. Now, if you don't know what the MMO Hopper is, it's all about me jumping from MMO to MMO, giving these games a look that is far beyond just the newbie zone, and just giving you some rough impressions, a review, a casual synopsis of what this game is all about, and if it's worth your time. So, this is my level 42 sorcerer, which is actually pretty interesting. I'm a sorcerer, right, with leather armor, and I use a two-hander. Everything is possible in Elder Scrolls Online. Everything is possible. So let's go ahead and put my armor on. I have my pet here, and I'll show you basically the gist of combat. I like two-handers the most in this game, so that's kind of what I'm the most comfortable with. So I have 5 abilities on my bar. My number 4 and number 5 are already taken away from this armor that I'm using and this pet that I'm using. So my number 4 and my number 5 key already gone in this limited action bar set, which, some people might not like. My number 1 is this crossbow, so I can kind of weaken people up a little bit. My number 2 is this dash, and then I need to kill this caster ASAP. So kill her first. Interrupt that, maybe not. I can hold my left click a little bit longer to do a really heavy attack, and then I can just spam it to do some swings, which is what I'm doing here. And that's it. And that's basically the gist of combat. So a lot of people have kind of been very critical on Elder Scrolls Online's combat. I'm just gonna say ESO. And I can see that. It's very limiting. You can weapon swap, but to me, it never really felt necessary. You just did it just because you were kind of bored. What I used to do, I used to use a bow and arrow. I don't have one right now. I just sold it, or I just deconstructed it. But I used to use a bow, kind of weaken them up from a distance, and then use my two-hander. But I kind of felt like I didn't really need it. And it was kind of more fun charging in and just going in the middle of everyone. So that's kind of what I've been doing. All right, let's go ahead and heal this injured soldier. There you go. I gotta go talk to Walks and Ash, who just miraculously appeared in front of me. Great. Now, all of the questing in Elder Scrolls Online is completely voice acted. So let's go ahead and complete this quest. No! Let's throw this shield away. My inventory is full. How embarrassing. You should have been ready before you started the video, FG. Come on. All right. Yeah, I have made a difference. Thank you for the boots. Yep, we'll see you later. All right. Oh, there's actually more questing to be done over here. So the way Elder Scrolls Online works is you have a map, obviously, and all of the questing is done in how to explain this. So let me just show you. Let's take a look at this town right here. So this is actually a quest hub. So if I go to this little building over here, there will be an NPC that has a story, or it has a dilemma, or there's going to be a disease going on, or a big boss that is taking hold of this area and this area only. So when you go to this area, you get the quest, you learn the story, you meet the people, you complete it, you either kill the boss or you make a really, really moral decision. This game does a really good job of having a lot of gray decisions, and then you're done. This icon will turn from black to white, and then you'll move on to the next area. You'll go to this little farm area over here. You'll help some people with their crops. You'll maybe kill some things that are making the crops really diseased or whatever. You'll meet some people. You'll save a princess, and then you'll be done with that farm. And then you move on to the next area. So I really like the way they do the questing in this game. You really care about the things that you're doing because it gives it to you in small chunks. Right? You don't go to a quest hub, collect 10 quests, and then you go out into the world, because it makes it really hard to care about quests in those type of MMOs. In this game, you don't get like 20 quests to go out and solve. You kind of get them 1 or 2 or 3 at a time at the most, and that's it. And I just got pushed out because the water was too deep. Come on, horse. So as far as questing goes in this game, it's actually very well done. However, it does get rather repetitive, and I'll kind of explain that here in a second once I go over to this NPC, and we'll start off the next level of this quest here. But we'll just skip it. We'll skip the dialogue. Where is the next part of the quest? I have no idea. We'll walk around this little area and see if we can't find it, because this tower is still black. That means I haven't solved everything that I need to solve in that area right now. But I am a completionist, and if you are a completionist like me, this game will drive you insane, or it will make you the happiest person in the world. For me, it drives me insane. So as you can see, all of the zones that I've been to in this game, I've done every single thing that you could possibly do, with the exceptions to group dungeons, are the only thing that I haven't done, because it's a little bit harder to get groups in this game. But I've solved every mystery. I've looked under every rock. I've killed every boss in every single zone that I've gone through since I've started the game. And I can tell you one thing about this game is that everything feels really samey after a while. And that's the reason why I probably won't continue to play Elder Scrolls Online. Because I can't tell you the difference between this level 40 zone and the level 10 zone that I was in when I first started the game. Because everything feels the same. You talk to the same people, you fight pretty much the same creatures, and nothing really changes. So we're gonna go to Pine Peak Cavern. Where is Pine Peak Cavern? Pine Peak Cavern. Okay, so that's where we're gonna go. Let me see how far that is, and then I'll talk about the graphics and the sound as we travel over there. Come on, let me through here. Pine Peak Cavern. Where is that place? Whoa, it's way over there. I don't have any teleporters over there, but we'll take this teleporter. So you can actually teleport around the map to kind of save you some time. And of course you have mounts, but the mounts have to be really trained up, and it costs a lot of gold and a lot of real world time. So every day I can log in and I can make my horse a little bit faster, or I can give him a little bit more stamina, or I can give him more bag space. And I can only do it once per day. So if you just start this game, your horse is going to be pretty below average for quite a while. Alright, let's head on over to a cavern, because I love going inside dungeons in this game. So as far as the graphics are concerned, I'm running this game on a GTX 980. I have pretty much everything on max, including shadows, God rays, all that stuff. And I'm hovering right around 44 frames per second right now. My view distance, as you can see, is pretty insane. This game is very well optimized. So if I really wanted to get 60 frames per second, I could. But I'm okay with getting 40 to 50, considering how good the game looks. There is a little bit of pop-in, but I like what we got going here. So I'll sacrifice a little FPS to get the level of graphic detail that this game has. So all in all, the graphics of the game, fantastic. I'm not that big of a fan of the armor in the game, but I know it fits the Elder Scrolls world, so I'm not gonna really, you know, take anything away from the game because of that. But none of the armor and none of the weapons really get me excited to get them. Like right now I'm using a weapon, and once I get out of the water I'll show you. This weapon is called a Prismatic Great Blade, and this is a purple weapon. It looks okay. I mean, it's alright. It's not terrible. Here's my normal armor that I normally wear when I'm not using that spell. And, you know, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. I'm not saying it does. But it just makes it... I'm just not really excited to loot it when I get it, if that makes sense. So let's see what this lady has to say before we head on over to the caverns.
My brother Brenda went into the barrel.
I like your hair. Good choice. I'll go find Brindar for you. Don't you worry. Now, if you play this game, I'm only skipping the quest text just because I'm recording the video. I highly, highly recommend listening to all of the quest dialogue in this game, because it's very well written. There are a lot of really comedic things. There are really a lot of storylines that if you're not listening to the NPCs tell you and you're not actually paying attention, you're gonna miss a lot of the really dark moral choices that you have to make in this game. And there are quite a few. All right, but we're gonna skip this just for you guys.
It contains it.
All right, what do you want? You need something too? Lieutenant Slán.
Be wary.
Thank you. All right, so let's go inside this cavern here, which I love, love, love. Jump on our horse. All right. And then we'll go inside this cavern. So before we do that, let's talk about the skills in this game. And I've kind of hinted that you can pretty much make any kind of character you want. Like I said, I'm a sorcerer wearing leather armor with a two-hand sword, but I haven't always been that. There's lots of different options that you can do. So as my class, being a sorcerer, I have access to dark magic. So there was a point in this game where I was using the destruction staff and using dark magic as my primary. I've recently switched to summoning, so I'm using the bound armor along with pets and this big humongous golem to thwart my enemies. I have storm calling, which I played around with a little bit, but I got kind of tired of being ranged, and I like to be in the combat a little bit more, so I switched to weapons. which is the two-hander. So two-hander is what I'm using right now. Pretty straightforward. You have your active abilities up here, and you have your passive abilities down here. You got to keep in mind that you only have five slots to put abilities on. So you're very limited on how much you can actually do. But if you decide that you really like two-hander, you can actually put, let's say, you can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see. Hold on. The best way to explain this. So if you want, you can have 2 ability bars that are both for two-hander. So you can have one ability bar that has all 5 of your two-hand abilities on this bar. And then on your second bar, you can have maybe 3 two-hand abilities and then a little bit of dark magic on there. So you don't have to use both of your ability bars for 2 different weapons. You can use one weapon but just have them slightly altered in a way, if that makes sense. I know I kind of explained that a little wonky, but that's that. So I have one hand and one sword and board, basically. We have dual wield. I have bow, which I used to use back in the day. There's destruction staff, which I used to use. Resto staff, if you want to go the healing route. Light armor is really good for casters. You also have medium armor, which is good for stamina users, so people that use weapons primarily. Heavy armor if you want to get a lot of HP. And then there are also world skills as well. So in this game, I actually can pickpocket enemies. Now that doesn't sound very special, but let me take it a step further. I can also break into people's houses and steal their weapons, their armor, their food. So, still, probably not that cool, right? But then I can take all those weapons and armor and stuff, and I can sell them to the black market. So it's actually really cool. There's basically a sub game inside Elder Scrolls Online where you can go around and be a thief. There's just one point where I was stealing things. I was wanted by the guards. I had bags and bags filled of things that I stole from a house, and I was trying to get to the black market to sell it. Because as you know, if you've played any Elder Scrolls game, if you get caught by a guard while you're wanted and you have a bunch of stolen goods on you, you lose them all. So I was trying to like sneak through shadows and find different routes to get to the black market that I needed to go to unload all of the items that I found. So that's a part of the game that I made myself. That wasn't a quest. That wasn't anything that was designed by the designers of the game, but that was something that stood out to me because it was fun that I created on my own. So that's pretty cool. You have soul magic, which is really designed to allow you to recharge your weapons. Guild skills, which I use quite a bit on fighter. I use this is my crossbow ability here. So you can kind of get an idea that this game is really generous when it comes to allowing you to select skills. So I'm using a little bit of the fighter guild abilities, a little bit of the class abilities, and a little bit of the weapon abilities to make the character that I like the most. This also has passes as well. There is the Mages Guild. There's Undaunted, which is really good for group dungeons and whatnot. Alliance War I haven't really played with because I'm not really a big fan of PvP and MMOs. Racial, I am a red guard, so I have all these racial abilities has a lot to do with stamina. And then of course crafting. I played a lot with blacksmithing, but like I said, I just recently respec'd, so I gotta put those points back in there. But that's pretty much the skill tree. There is a lot of fun to be had creating your character. But I will say, once you get a character that you kind of like, that you kind of feel comfortable with, if you're not the type of person that likes to bounce around to different specs all the time, your combat will start to feel very samey and very repetitive. I can't deny that. So that is the thing. All right, what do we got here? Got a ring of fire over here, Johnny Cash. So to end this video, let's go ahead and complete this dungeon. Maybe we won't complete it. All right, let's see, Worm Slayer. What's going on here, buddy? You all right? Oh, that was easy.
Whose body was this?
Your body. All right, there's probably a quest that I need to be paying attention to, but I haven't been because of the video. But we'll show you a little bit about this game here as we go through this dungeon. Wait for this. Let's just jump through it next time. Let's see how much damage we take. I'm not actually sure. All right.
He's doomed. Yes.
So, oh man, I should have showed you guys that. But right there, I just used my persuade ability in order to make her do something. Like I said, oh, looks like she just gave me a bunch of equipment that I needed to solve this quest. I bet you I know what happened there. So there are times where you can talk someone into giving you something, and there are times where you can like kill them to give you something. And it just really depends on what type of abilities that you have selected. And in that instance, I was able to use persuade to get what I wanted. But I'm not really paying attention to the quest because I'm talking and doing commentary here. So I could be completely wrong about what this quest is actually asking me to do. But that's what I think. Let's go ahead and kill this chick. And then let's go into first person mode because that is in Elder Scrolls Online. Let's turn my armor on real quick. Alright, so cross bolts in first person mode. Charge. Don't really recommend playing this way, but you can. Oh. See, it's really, really hard for me to see the red on the ground because of that. Alright. Yeah, we're not going to complete this dungeon. This is going to take a little while. So let's go ahead and leave here. Hey. Why are you bugging out on this rock over here? So let's go ahead and leave, actually. Can I... Let's teleport to this town here. Can I not do that? There we go. That's fine. That's fine. But this is the gist of Elder Scrolls Online. Let's go to this town right here and I'll kind of give you my final thoughts and kind of let you know why I don't intend to continue playing the game, even though I had quite a bit of fun with it. But it's been such a roller coaster ride as far as Elder Scrolls is concerned. When I first played it, I was having a ton of fun. Everything felt so brand new. Everything was just like, wow, I have all these dungeons that I can go dive in. I have all these skills that I can play with. All the NPCs talk. Everything was just so new. But then it starts becoming really samey. All the zones that I've been to so far, like I said, I'm only level 42. There is more game to be played. But every zone has felt pretty much the same. Like, it hasn't really felt very different. I don't feel like I'm really doing... I don't feel like I'm progressing at all. I don't feel like I'm going to cooler looking zones. I don't feel like I'm fighting cooler looking monsters. I don't feel like my weapons are looking that much better at all. So I'm losing that whole progression factor at the expense of a really, really good story in chunks. So the overall story that everyone is going through, like the really main story quest, isn't really that good. Side quests tend to be more exciting and more, how do I say it, like thought-provoking than the main storyline quest. So really what you have in this game is you get little chunks of quests that are really interesting in zones that feel the same with abilities that are definitely the same, and it just becomes really, really samey. Now, I don't regret any of the time that I spent in Elder Scrolls Online. I definitely think this game is worth your money, but do keep in mind that you will get to a point where you've just felt like you've seen it all. And that's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like I've seen everything I need to see in Elder Scrolls Online. I don't have anything pushing me to be like, oh, I want to go do this, or I want to go see this place, or I want to go, like, I don't feel that in Elder Scrolls Online. So that is why I'm probably not going to continue playing this game. But I did have a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun. And my opinion might be completely different than yours. So definitely leave them in the comment section below. I would still buy Elder Scrolls Online. This is the holiday season, so you might find it on sale. It's typically 59 bucks, but I'm sure there's going to be sales where you can get it for a lot cheaper. I think I saw it on a Humble Bundle a while back for like 20 bucks. Is this game worth 20 bucks? Yes. 30, yes. 40, yes. 50, yes. 60, yes. Monthly fee? No. And I think they realize that as well. And that's what we have here. So, my name is FG3000. That is Elder Scrolls Online. I am the MMO Hopper. Hopefully you enjoyed. And we will see you next video. Later.